Tonight, your brain is either detoxing or it isn't. Not metaphorically, biochemically. Right now, as you move through sleep, a protein called amyloid beta is accumulating in the tissue between your neurons. It's been building all day. Every hour of wakefulness adds to the load. The only mechanism your brain has to clear it activates during deep sleep, and it is position dependent. That is not a hypothesis. That is peer-reviewed biology. Published in Science magazine, 2013. Researchers at the University of Rochester demonstrated that the glymphatic system, your brain's internal waste clearance network, operates at dramatically different efficiencies depending on how your body is positioned during sleep. The difference between the best position and the worst? 25% more toxic protein clearance, overnight, every night. And the optimal position? It was already prescribed, 3,000 years ago. The hidden mechanism. Here's what's actually happening inside your skull while you sleep. Your brain has no lymphatic vessels. The rest of your body uses lymph to carry waste. Your brain cannot. Instead, it runs a parallel system, the glymphatic pathway, using cerebrospinal fluid as its cleaning agent. During deep, slow-wave sleep, the glial cells that surround your neurons shrink by up to 60%. That shrinkage opens channels between cells. Cerebrospinal fluid, driven by arterial pulsation, floods through those channels like a pressurized river through a canyon. It sweeps amyloid beta, tau proteins, and metabolic debris out of brain tissue and into venous drainage. This is your brain's nightly reset. It does not happen while you're awake. It cannot be replicated with supplements or nootropics. It requires deep sleep and the right position to run at full capacity. The SIE study showed this clearly. Left lateral position, sleeping on your left side, produced the highest efficiency of cerebrospinal fluid penetration and waste removal. Back sleeping was significantly less efficient. Stomach sleeping, worse still. The physics are not complicated. Left side positioning aligns the brain's drainage angles with gravity and circulatory flow in a way that other positions simply do not replicate. Your brain is a self-cleaning organ, but only if you let it clean. After the age of 45, amyloid beta accumulation accelerates. The glymphatic system's efficiency begins to decline. This is not inevitable decline. It is positional negligence compounded over decades, and it is correctable, starting tonight. The ancient prescription. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika, a Sanskrit text from the 15th century, encoding practices that trace back 3,000 years, contains a direct prescription. Sleep on the left side. Not as a comfort suggestion, as a physiological protocol for what the text calls optimal prana flow, digestive restoration, and neural balance. The specific practice is called Vamakukshi, left side repose. Ayurvedic physicians prescribed it not just for digestion, but for what they described as the restoration of the mind's clarity during sleep. They were describing glymphatic function. They didn't have the vocabulary. They had the observation. The left side of the body, in yogic anatomy, corresponds to the Ida channel, the cooling parasympathetic lunar current. Sleeping on the left activates left nostril dominance, and left nostril dominance is not energetic metaphor, it is measurable neurology. This brings us to the primer. Chandra Beden Pranayama, moon-piercing breath, is a pre-sleep breathing technique that involves inhaling exclusively through the left nostril while the right nostril is closed. The nasal cycle, documented extensively in modern research, shows that left nostril breathing shifts dominance toward the right cerebral hemisphere and activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the biological state required for slow-wave sleep entry. The ancients built the entry protocol. They understood that the glymphatic window, the deep sleep phase where clearance occurs, could be accessed faster, held longer, and optimized by controlling the breath before lying down. They didn't have fMRI. They had 3,000 years of refined human observation, and now you have both. The protocol. Here is the exact sequence. Simple, precise, non-negotiable. Before lying down, sit upright. Close your right nostril with the right thumb. Inhale slowly through the left nostril for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Exhale through the left nostril for a count of 8. That is 1 cycle. Complete 5 cycles. Do not rush. The extended exhale is the mechanism. It drives parasympathetic activation, drops cortisol, and begins lowering core body temperature, the physiological trigger for slow-wave sleep entry. Then lie on your left side. Pillow height matters. Your neck should be neutral, not tilted up, not compressed down. A pillow that fills the space between your shoulder and your ear maintains spinal alignment and keeps the cervical drainage channels unobstructed. A slight bend at the hips and knees, partial fetal position, reduces spinal pressure and stabilizes the position through the night. Left arm, forward and slightly bent at the elbow, not trapped beneath your body. Right arm resting on your right side or across the torso. This is not complex. This requires no equipment beyond a pillow of appropriate thickness. If you wake during the night on your back or right side, do not treat it as failure. Reposition. Complete 2 or 3 left nostril breaths. Return to the left side. The glymphatic system doesn't require an uninterrupted 8 hours on the left. It requires sufficient time in optimal position during deep sleep cycles. Repositioning midnight still captures significant clearance. The protocol takes 90 seconds. The return is neurological. The timeline. Here is what happens inside your brain when you begin. Night 1. Your glymphatic system initiates its first full-efficiency clearance cycle. Cerebrospinal fluid penetration depth increases. Amyloid beta begins flushing at the 25% elevated rate confirmed in the Xie study. You will not feel this. It is occurring at the cellular level, but it is occurring. Week 1. The parasympathetic activation from Chandra Badan begins to entrain. Sleep onset shortens. Most practitioners report falling into slow-wave sleep faster by night 4 or 5. Morning cognitive clarity begins to shift. The fogginess that many men over 45 accept as normal, that slow start, the heaviness behind the eyes, begins to lift. This is not placebo. This is reduced interstitial protein load in prefrontal and hippocampal tissue. Week 4. With consistent left lateral positioning, glymphatic clearance patterns stabilize. Inflammatory cytokine levels associated with sleep-related neural stress begin to normalize. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, the protein responsible for neural repair and plasticity, shows measurable elevation in studies correlating deep sleep quality with cognitive markers. You may notice sharper word retrieval, faster processing, reduced afternoon cognitive fatigue. Month 3. This is where structural impact begins. Consistent, optimized glymphatic clearance over 90 days demonstrably reduces amyloid beta accumulation patterns in at-risk tissue. This is not reversal of existing plaques. It is prevention of new accumulation and the gradual reduction of soluble amyloid burden in the interstitial space. The research is unambiguous. What you do nightly compounds in both directions. 3 months of correct positioning is 3 months of nightly brain detoxification that your previous sleep habits never delivered. You now carry information that most people, including most physicians, have never synthesized in this form. The connection between a 15th century Sanskrit text, a 2013 peer-reviewed paper in Science, and your specific sleep position tonight is not common clinical knowledge. It is not discussed in most neurology offices. It is not on the standard longevity protocol handed out by most functional medicine practitioners. You found it. Now it belongs to your biology. 1 position shift, 1 90-second breathing sequence, compounded over 3 months, over a year, over a decade. The divergence between a brain that clears its waste nightly and one that doesn't is not subtle. It is the difference between cognitive longevity and slow, silent accumulation. Tonight, you know which side to sleep on. The next transmission in this sequence covers the nerve that controls your heart rate, your immune system, and your longevity markers from the inside. What ancient practitioners called the Sushumna channel, what modern neuroscience calls the vagus nerve. The ancients mapped it. The biologists confirmed it. The protocol will surprise you. Check the pinned comment below. Tell us what position you wake up in. The data is useful. Your answer matters.